Hello, welcome to Toy Storage Nation Q&As. Today we are fortunate to be speaking with Brittany Rising, Account Supervisor, Alchemy Insurance Solutions, and Nate Trone, Senior Manager, Business Development at Alchemy Insurance Solutions. Thank you both for being here. Can you please introduce yourselves and give us a bit of background? Brittany, can we start with you?
Absolutely. My name is Brittany Rising. As Amy stated, I'm the account supervisor here in client management. Uh, a little bit about my background is that I've always been in business to business relationship management. It's really where I find my passion, and insurance just really tops it off.
Thank you, Brittany. And Nate.
Yes, Nate Trone, as you had stated, Senior Manager of Business Development for Alchemy Insurance Solutions, who administers the SBOA insurance suite of programs. I've been with Alchemy for a little over 10 years. I've been with the company for a while. I started out as an intern, worked my way up through the account management department, and now I'm doing business development full time for the SBOA insurance programs.
Thank you, Nate. So we're going to go ahead and get right into the questions today. Can you please explain the partnership between the SBOA and Alchemy Insurance Solutions, and also the history within self-storage, I think, to give some understanding. And then also on top of that,
Sure.
how does this partnership benefit RV and boat storage owners? Let's
Sure.
go ahead.
I'll start out with a little bit of background or just a little bit of context, if you will, for your listeners at home. Alchemy Insurance Solutions is the entity that administers the SBOA insurance suite of programs, from the builder's risk to the tenant insurance to the commercial brokerage access network of carriers that we do have access to. The SBOA is currently head up by Jim Mooney, who's doing a fantastic job. Is a self-storage resource company, and what they do is they connect self-storage and boat and RV storage operators with various vendors throughout the industry, whether it be website development, whether it be a facility management system, or us, a tenant insurance product, or a commercial and property insurance product. And where we sort of have the connection there is it was both programs, the SBOA insurance and the SBOA, had a common founder, Ian Bernstein, who had put together those two subsidiaries, I'll call them. And the SBOA has been always a good marketing partner for the SBOA insurance. And to answer your question in terms of history, SBOA insurance has been around for about 15 years now. Where it started was there was a group of large REITs and management companies in the industry who are looking for a tenant insurance solution at the time. And so what they did was they got connected with some industry professionals, some insurance professionals, who were able to put together now what is considered the SBOA tenant insurance product. And of course, we've only grown from there. And as you know, we now are able to handle the outside parking spaces for the boat and RV in our tenant insurance program, as well as provide a lot of great property and liability options for the operators. Now, where this benefits the clients, your owner operators who are listening to this, what you're getting is a just combination of industry specific expertise for insurance through the SBOA insurance team. Brittany's team does a great job that she heads up with the account managers, and of course, as well as myself in the business development aspect of that. And of course, with the SBOA, they can get connected with a lot of different vendors, as I had mentioned. For someone, for example, that's just starting out with boat and RV operations. And sorry, I know that was a little long-winded, but I just wanted to make sure you had the full answer there.
No, thank you, Nate. That was great. You did give us a thorough understanding. So no, that was perfect. And I know you
Sure.
covered a little bit of this in your answer, but Please explain the types of coverage that SBOA insurance provides for the boat and RV storage market, commercial, tenant, builder's risk. And then second part of that, and I know I am asking long questions here, is there a benefit to being able to use SBOA's insurance for multiple types of insurance, being able to have one provider?
Well, I'm happy to take this one and branch into a little bit of the various services that we offer in terms of insurance. So we do offer a commercial, tenant, and a builder's risk product. Um, those are our three main verticals. The builder's risk does offer you coverage during development and construction, and it is important for expansions and new developments and redevelopments. So that's something that we offer in our construction vertical. Our tenant insurance, of course, is protection for the tenant's contents while it's being stored on site. This includes the boat and RV. It does reduce disputes after losses, and it does create a smoother claims experience for the tenants. Um, and we also add operational protections for the facility owners as well. And then our commercial vertical covers commercial, general liability, umbrella, cyber, and we do specialized operational coverages. Really, we've been able to find solutions for many complex facilities and use cases. So when we do have somebody come to us with something a little more complex on the commercial side, having that commercial structure and the construction vertical are proving to be more beneficial. And so that leads into the benefit of using one insurance partner. We can help you from beginning to end. You have the person that you can call when you have a claim question or when you need to decide if you are needing to file a claim with the carrier, helping understand your policy. You can have somebody that you can reach out to for both your tenant issue and your commercial issue, and that conversation can be had with the owner to help you understand which policy would be impacted. So it really does just streamline things for our clients. Um, you know, it's it's very beneficial. It's not something that we want to monopolize on everybody's insurance, but we do feel like we offer very strong solutions all around from beginning to end for those clients. And so, yeah, I think that just having a one-stop shop is always more helpful for those operators that are looking for it.
Thank you, Brittany. And you lead right into my next question here. And I've got to be honest, I cheated a bit. I got some of this information from a fantastic article you guys had provided us at Toy Storage Nation. Thank you for the content
Yeah,
and information you give our audience. But what
of
is
course.
the essential insurance for every RV and boat storage what if the storage facility would need? And again, I did not come up with these on my own.
Yeah,
Commercial property, general liability, garage keepers coverage, and cyber liability. And this all stems back to what Brittany was talking about. How lucky are we to have a place where you can go and get this all at one place? So, can you talk about
yeah.
the essential insurance for someone who's getting started here?
Yeah, I can start out with that. And the core coverages, I think you mentioned a number of them. These are some of the coverages that would make the difference between something that's self-storage and boat and RV specific versus just the off-the-shelf business owner's policy that you might get from an agent who may or may not be focused in the self-storage industry. So just to go into a little bit more in depth into that is customer goods legal liability. That is if, say, what you're storing either a boat RV or even for the self storage folks who might be listening in, if one of their tenants' items gets damaged, that's where that coverage would activate. So you would want to ensure that you have that coverage within your policy. Sort of similar to that, just a little bit different, is the sales and disposal liability. That's where if you, for example, don't have the paper trail that goes into an auction whenever someone doesn't pay their rent, as happens in the self storage industry. There's several. So I'm sure every operator can vouch for this. But that's if they come back to you with litigiously in terms of, hey, you sold my stuff. I don't think you did it the right way. I don't think you gave me the proper notification, whatever the case. That's where that coverage comes into place. And those are just some of the two of the specific ones. But just like some of the other ones that you mentioned, you would want to ensure that you have the adequate business income coverage. If, say, there's something that occurs that entirely stops your operation, and God forbid a complete loss of some sort, you would want to ensure that you have something that that is able to cover what you would typically make if you were doing typical business and regular business. And of course, cyber, that is one that becomes more and more important every day, especially with, we're always online more, things of that nature. So you would want to ensure that you have proper cyber coverage. And one thing that I will note is that there's a lot of operators who look at their lender requirements, for example, and they say, oh, well, the lender only requires this GL limit, general liability limit, or whatever the case. But what I would look at it is you should reflect the actual operation exposures, even if it's limits that might be above the requirements that are intended by the lender.
Thank you, Nate.
Sure.
Another question I get a lot is, why is tenant insurance so important? And why is the vehicle policy not enough?
I could take this one. So, tenant insurance, first and foremost, why is it so important? The first thing that I want to note that I think that we all can't mistake is that there is a huge benefit to the operators. It's ancillary revenue. It reduces disputes after potential losses. It is faster claims handling than going through auto insurance. You typically have a better customer experience, especially if you're working with us. We do work very closely with all of our owners and operators. As Nate had said earlier, my department does offer that concierge level service so that you can pick up the phone and call if you have any questions or concerns. The owners can call, the facility managers can call. So we really make sure that we're available to our operators. So that just overall can reduce any sort of friction that you might have with a potential tenant issue, or even if they are a potentially litigious tenant. Sometimes you can calm the waters more quickly when you have a very reasonable and reliable solution, which is tenant insurance. The benefits for the tenants, first and foremost, that is a question that a lot of tenants push back on. Well, I already have auto coverage on this, but we can really fill in the gaps between your loss and your deductible. So if there is a smaller loss, nobody likes to think of vermin, right? But if a raccoon chews out some wires and it's only $1,000, our coverage would cover that. If your deductible is $2,000, you never have to file a claim your tenants would never have to file a claim with their auto carrier. Another benefit is that we don't report to the ISO. So in the event that a tenant needs to file a claim against their existing contents policy with the tenant insurance, it would never affect their policy premiums elsewhere across their homeowners or their auto or anything like that. And then another item is that it can offset your deductible as well. So we always pay first in the event there is a $15,000 loss and you have a $2,000 deductible. You could also file a claim with us. We would cover that first $2,000, and then you could supplement it and offset your deductible on the back end with that claim. There are some coverage exclusions that can occur with your auto that, a tenant insurance is specifically crafted for damage that could occur at a self-storage or off-site storage. You don't have to know the policy in and out as the tenant. You can rest assured that it is something that is crafted and specially designed for a lot of the scenarios that you're going to run into when you're in self-storage. And also when an item is off-site, you are inherently dealing with reduced production or protection. It's different than having it in your garage at home. there is a higher risk potential. So just making sure that you're covered or that your tenants are covered is a huge benefit to for them to consider.
Thank you, Brittany. Um, when in the process of developing an RV and boat storage facility should someone start looking for insurance and an insurance provider? Does the process take time?
Yes. Short answer is yes. So there's, of course, it depends on what coverage that you're looking for. For builder's risk, which we do offer as well, as I indicated earlier, you want to start that as early as possible, typically during the planning and development phase of your project, because that coverage would want to activate on day one of your starting to build your product or project rather. For commercial and tenant insurance, of course, you would wait until you're a little bit closer to opening time of your boat and RV facility. Typically, if you want to have all the options on the table, 60 to 90 days out is a typical good timeline, depending on how simple or how complex your I would call your application for insurance may be, because what our job is to advocate to our carriers as a broker on behalf of the boat and RV facility owners, basically to get the best premium options available, as well as great terms and coverages. So that is what we work day in and day out. There's a couple that we're working on, right now on a daily basis that we call the carrier. We have a little bit back and forth. Hey, can we do a little bit better on premium? So on and so forth. So that is how we advocate for the operator in that way. And that timeline will allow us to do that even more effectively, just ensuring that all options are on the table. And I will say something, and I think we indicated this a little bit earlier, is the importance of having one dedicated agent going out and getting quotes for you. I think there's sometimes a misconception out there that may be, oh, the more agents I work with, the more options I have. Now, that's typically not the case, is what I'll just say flat out, because what you really want is an agent who has access to a wide range of great and strong carriers, who truly understands your business, the ins and outs. And if you're going to several different agents to do that, you're going to get several different, I would say, aspects of your business and understanding. So I think if you work with us directly, we'll ensure that you're advocated for appropriately, and that you get the best rates available that we have access to, as well as the best available coverages, because we have access to a range of strong carriers that a lot of them are specifically catered to the self-storage industry. So they know the industry in and out as much as we do.
Thanks, Nate. And speaking to leaving enough time and the fact that, you want to get a wide variety of options, are there certain facilities that propose a particular challenge in coverage?
Yeah, I just, of course, your typical coastal areas, your hurricane exposed properties. Now, we are able to handle those, but sometimes that might take a little bit longer to try and get you the best available premium, because, again, we're going to various carriers out there and trying to get the strongest proposal for you. Of course, as we all know out west, there's now wildfire-prone areas. So they could also pose, I wouldn't say too high of a concern, but more of a complexity in the submission process. And also, to add on to that, the boat and RV, you would want to ensure as you're building that you're working with a developer and construction company who has, for lack of a better word, that gives you strong materials. Some of those ones that we went out and visited, those are the A class that's going to get you the best available rate. So I wouldn't try to cheap out on materials, especially from an insurance perspective, because I actually had a conversation with the carrier on this specifically. Is sometimes they do get the Costco type canopies that do not have the high level of materials that are needed and that would withstand the wind, such as your Baja, your Manco Rabco will provide you. So just that's something else that I think as you're building your project, that is something that I would keep a keen eye on.
Great advice. Thank you, Nate. How is technology transforming insurance for the RV and boat storage market?
Well, I can say just in the past few years, we've really seen a big change in operational technology. It's come a long way with online rentals and the things that we're seeing operators be able to do through the facility management software. We now have items such as Storage Defender um, and all of the great tools that they have, automated gates, access control, AI-driven communication tools. Their cameras and monitoring systems are just consistently getting smarter and smarter. Every time we go to a show, there's a new rollout of a new product that's even more advanced than the last. And they're all real value adds to the operators. And then, of course, there's the impact to insurance, which improves the risk visibility. It reduces claim frequency. It streamlines onboarding. It automates insurance compliance tracking. It's better tenant enrollment process. So overall, our feeling is that the way the technology is transforming insurance for boat and RV has just been overwhelmingly positive. We think that AI and analytics improving underwriting and risk evaluation is just going to keep growing and keep moving forward. And facilities that are embracing technology are often positioning themselves for better premiums and risk reduction long term.
Thank you. That's great to hear, Brittany. So this leads me to ask, what's next for SBOA? Is there anything you can give us a sneak peek on?
Uh, there is actually, and depending on when this airs, your listeners might get a front row seat to some of the new, I would call it the tenant insurance products that we're rolling out. And we're actually excited to roll out a new product called Fortified. It's a tenant insurance product that is designed to give operators, self storage operators, boat and RV operators, higher revenue than ever before as their enrollment rates increase and as their limits increase. And there's a lot of add-ons that we're excited to be able to tack on to that. You're the listeners at home, you're the Toy Storage Nation members that are out there. Would love to have more of a conversation about that and everything else that we just talked about today. I'll give my contact information as we're closing here, but would love to have a conversation.
Awesome. That's great. So even more to offer from SBOA. So that's amazing.
Yes.
So you brought us right to the next thing. What I'd like to do is for both of you to give us again your name and your contact information for those that may be watching this and want to get in contact with you. So Brittany, can we start with you?
Yes, absolutely. So my name is Brittany Rising, and my email is my name, Brittany, period, Rising. That's Brittany, period, Rising. And that's at alchemyins.com, alchemyins.com. And I can be reached. My direct number here at the office is 717-925-7183.
Thank you, Brittany. And Nate.
Yeah, sure. So my email address is nate.trone at alchemyins.com. And my line can be reached at 717-742-3053.
Thank you both, Nate and Brittany, for being here today and your time. I also want to thank SBOA Insurance for being such great partners with Toy Storage Nation. I also wanted to mention for folks that may be wanting to meet you in person, SBOA Insurance will be at our upcoming August 14th Denver workshop. You can find all the information for that on the toystoragenation.com website. SBOA Insurance hosts a insurance roundtable, so you have time to ask all your specific questions to these folks. So again, I want to thank both of you today for your time.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you so much, Amy.